Hey Toy Shooters, and welcome to the first ever episode of Friday Night Likes. I did intend to start this a couple of weeks ago after the premiere of Rogue One, but Christmas got in the way, and then the week after that with Carrie Fisher dying, it just seemed like the wrong time to start, so I figured, hey, new year, new show, probably the best time to start it now. So what I'm going to do with this each week is I'm just going to feature some of the best toy photography I've seen around the web. It's not necessarily going to be photos I've seen within the week. Some are going to be older, certainly as you'll see in this first show. But in each case, I'm going to look at the photo and I'm going to discuss something about that photo that is really, really good and something you can learn from and hopefully improve your work. So that's kind of the format of the show. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. So this first photo from Instagram is by Plastic Action. And what we have here is Optimus Prime in some kind of rain scenario. Now, the reason I like this photo is for a couple of reasons. It's clearly kind of outside lighting. It looks like he's sort of staring into a sunset or something. You've got very, really hard lighting on him. But at the same time, it's kind of got softness to it because of the aperture it's been shot at. Really, really nicely lit and shot around him. But the thing that strikes me more than anything about this is the use of liquid, because liquid is really, really hard to deal with toys because the toys are small. Droplets sort of pool, and you can certainly see just down the bottom here, there's a couple of bigger ones. But in general, for the droplets you can see on the figure here, he's done a pretty good job of capturing smaller drops. Now, all these sort of effects of raindrops, I'm pretty sure are Photoshop, but it melds really well and just gives a great kind of atmosphere that Prime is in the rain and dealing with whatever he's dealing with. So this gets top marks for me for atmosphere and getting liquid right, even though it's sort of partly done in post-production Photoshop. I think the rain just gives it away, the thin droplets of rain. But hey, it sells it, and I believe it. So yeah, great one to kick us off. Next, from Work More or Less, is this shot of a custom Niem figure he's made. But this just gets so many points for me for atmosphere. I had been thinking about doing a kind of Yavin 4 base shoot, very, very much like this. I've got a different scene in mind, but I certainly hadn't thought about how to light it the way he has. And I mean, that kind of backlighting coming into the base, it just completely sells it. This is exactly like the shots you see in both Rogue One and I don't know if there were any shots like this in episode 4 where you saw the lighting come in, but certainly you can see it in Rogue One, the scenes where they're in the base like this. And I mean, this is just beautiful. A brilliant, brilliant lighting and composition, because whatever figures he's got around, giving that sort of illusion of this being the base and it being busy. You don't know who they are. You don't know what these figures are. They could be from anything, but it doesn't matter because it sells it and you believe it. You believe this pilot's there and he's about to jump in an X-Wing and head off. I mean, just amazing lighting. Got a couple of double lens flare streaks here. I don't know whether he's done that with a filter or Photoshop, but just in terms of atmosphere, this is top class. I've got so much time for this shot. Really stunning work. I know he's got another one or two, I think, with some of the Rogue One figures like Jin, which are well worth checking out. So have a scroll through Work More or Less's Instagram account and you'll see those as well as plenty of other great stuff he does. So next up is this shot of, and I'm going to have to apologise, I don't know the character's name. Is it now taxi? Yep, Captain Britain. I had thought it was, but I didn't want to say it and sound very, very stupid. So Captain Britain. This is an incredibly simple shot. My guess is that isn't a real street with people walking on it with his camera on the pavement. I'm guessing that is maybe a photo or a printout or a monitor. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. It might be real, in which case kudos if it is. But it's just brilliant because for doing very little, apart from getting that backdrop in there and popping this on a pavement or kitchen tiles or whatever it is, it creates a story very, very, very quickly around this guy, his size, what he's doing. You know, he's clearly out of his depth running through a load of people. And yeah, very, very simple idea, but it shows you what you can do to take just a shot of a single figure, which is all this is, and create something really, really great out of it. Got some great framing as well with the lines of the legs around the figure there. He's posed nicely, kind of running along. May have worked a little better if both the bigger guy there and the figure were just brought slightly to the right, and then the lines of the tiles would have completed that framing beautifully. But, you know, as it is, great shot. So Mex Cell 90. Go check out his work. Next one is from Avenel, who I think pretty much everyone in the toy community knows for his work with Lego stuff, and this is no exception to the quality of stuff he puts out. The Lego TIE Striker model from Rogue One. We've definitely got a bit of a Rogue One theme going on this week. Yeah, I mean, what's not to say about Avenel's work that you can't apply here, as well as so many other stuff he does. So beautiful use of leading lines. So you've got all these lines, diagonal lines of both the ship itself and the shadow there and the horizon. It's all taking you to Vader here, the focal point. Even this line, it all draws your eye down to here. This is masterful use of leading lines. This kind of thing with toy photography takes a long time to figure out, just making small adjustments to where the camera's positioned to capture this kind of framing and composition to sell it before you even get into lighting or dumping powder or whatever he's using for snow these days across the whole scene. So think about this kind of thing. Leading lines, where are they in your scene that you can take advantage of or create to create something like this? Worth noting, of course, the shadow here, this line, is created by the light. So obviously the ship's creating some lines. This shadow is based on where he's put the light. So remember, what you do with lighting will create lines as well. The saber there is lit up. I don't think that's in post. It might have been pushed up in post, but obviously it's got a very nice red glow around it, and then you've got a reflection up there. I'm a little bit suspicious of the fact that Darth there hasn't kind of got much glow around him. Side of the ship hasn't got much either. So maybe this is a little bit of Photoshop trickery, but it doesn't really matter because you know, he sells it and he's got that reflection up there. That's also almost another leading line as well. And then, you know, you add the light, you add the effects, and you get a shot like this. Absolutely fantastic. That's not to say it's easy work, but you can see what's possible when you put the time in. So go check out Avenel's work. It's absolutely fantastic. I've got his book as well. Can't go wrong. Last one for this week is a shot by TheOneKam. A lot going on here, but the thing I like about this more than anything is the use of complementary colors. So all the shadows, you've got this kind of blue tone in, almost shifted slightly into purple, which is not the norm because most people go more blue to green, but this looks great. I've actually been playing more with purple recently with shadows, but then this light coming through the grill there is orange. So those two complement really, really nicely. And I mean, with the setup here, I mean, there's so much work put into this in terms of the posing, the articulation, but where you've got Widow kicking here and his head connecting with that grill, it really picks up the orange light and actually focuses you on his head, which is brilliant. It looks like we've got smoke coming through as well for atmosphere. This window at the back breaking through. There's so much going on in this shot. This would have taken a hell of a long time to set up. The other thing that's going on is you've actually got another pair of complementary colors. You've got Widow's red hair, which is really vibrant, and then this window has kind of a green tone to it, which is complementing the red. So you've got two things going on. You've got green and red, and you've got this kind of orange and blue or orange and purpley blue here. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. This is doing composition with color. Before you even get to composition in terms of the scene, the figures, the articulation, just a really, really good piece of work. So that's it for this first episode of Friday Night Likes. 5 great photos there, 5 great artists. All the links to these are below in the description for the video on YouTube. So I would highly recommend you check out each of these artists. Don't just, go and like the photos. Look at what they're doing, follow them on Instagram, and we will be back next week for another episode. Head to ToyShooter.com to join our newsletter and get my free guide to toy photography. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube using the link below. When you subscribe, look for this option to be notified whenever we upload new tutorials. Otherwise, videos will probably get lost in your feed here on YouTube. To see my work on Instagram, you can follow our account at instagram.com/WeShootToys, where you'll also find some exclusive behind-the-scenes videos. You can also get regular news and updates from our Facebook page at facebook.com/ToyShooter. As with YouTube, you can get notified whenever I upload news or photos by clicking on that like button arrow, then selecting all notifications. You can always change this later if I'm posting more cool stuff than you can handle. Here are all those links again. See you next time.